The digital landscape has completely transformed how information spreads, shifting the way traditional institutions interact with popular culture and creating an environment where a single social media post can spark a massive national conversation. In the modern era, social platforms are no longer just tools for casual entertainment or personal updates, but have instead evolved into major battlegrounds for cultural influence and public messaging. High-profile figures from globally recognized pop icons to official administrative offices now utilize these spaces to connect with hundreds of millions of people instantly. This hyper-connected environment means that the boundaries between entertainment, media, and public messaging have blurred entirely, leading to unexpected intersections that frequently capture the world's attention. When a piece of art or a popular song is lifted from its original creative context and placed into a completely different framework, it often triggers a complex chain reaction that exposes deep cultural divides and raises important questions about creative control, intellectual property, and public perception. This phenomenon is particularly evident when large-scale institutions try to leverage the immense reach of modern streaming platforms and social trends to amplify their own specific messaging, utilizing the global soundtrack of pop music to make their content more viral and engaging to younger demographics. The Straits Times understanding this modern media dynamic is essential for recognizing how quickly a simple online update can escalate into a major cultural moment that dominates headlines. Every single day, massive amounts of video content are uploaded to the internet, carefully designed to grab attention through catchy rhythms and recognizable melodies. If you want to stay informed about these rapidly unfolding cultural events, explore the fascinating stories behind the headlines, and understand how the worlds of entertainment and global media constantly collide. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on these evolving stories. The ongoing intersection of creative expression and official institutional messaging has created a unique environment where artists find themselves constantly monitoring how their creative work is being utilized, shared, and reframed by entities outside of the music industry. For a global superstar, a song is not just a commercial product or a chart-topping hit, but a deeply personal expression of their identity, values, and artistic vision. When that vision is suddenly repurposed to serve a completely different narrative, the resulting friction often plays out in full view of a global audience. Sparking intense discussions across every major online platform, this specific phenomenon lay at the very heart of a major incident that unfolded across the internet this week, sending shockwaves through both the entertainment industry and mainstream media outlets. The situation began quietly within the algorithmic feeds of a wildly popular short-form video platform where an official administrative account uploaded a highly stylized video package designed to showcase recent law enforcement operations. To maximize engagement and ensure the clip resonated with a broader, younger audience, the creators of the video selected an incredibly recognizable track as the background audio, pairing an upbeat pop rhythm with intense, real-world footage of federal agents executing arrests and taking individuals into custody. The choice of music was far from obscure, as it featured a major hit from one of the most successful and influential vocalists of the modern era, an artist known for a massive global following and a fiercely independent public persona. By using this specific track, the video instantly connects itself to the singer's vast audience, but it also set the stage for an immediate and explosive pushback that no one in the administration seemed to anticipate. CBC, the artist in question, has spent over a decade dominating the global music charts, transitioning from a beloved teenage television actress into an absolute powerhouse of the music industry with billions of streams and numerous prestigious awards to her name. Beyond her undeniable vocal talent and massive commercial success, she has consistently used her platform to advocate for various social causes, frequently expressing her personal values and supporting vulnerable communities throughout her career. Because of this well-established public identity, the sudden and unauthorized use of her music in a video package that highlighted aggressive law enforcement actions and forced detentions created an immediate and severe contradiction for the artist and her millions of dedicated fans. Seeing a song that was originally created as an anthem of personal liberation and moving forward being used as the soundtrack for federal crackdowns was an unacceptable distortion of her creative work. The tension began to build rapidly behind the scenes as soon as the video went live. with fans immediately noticing the track and tagging the pop star to alert her to how her intellectual property was being utilized by an official institutional account. Coda Radio Show 2. As the video continued to accumulate hundreds of thousands of views, the online community watched closely to see how the pop star would react to having her work integrated into such a sensitive and intense display of state authority. The track itself, which had previously enjoyed massive success on the global charts and represented a significant creative milestone in her recent discography, was suddenly being viewed through a completely new and highly controversial lens. This sets the stage for a dramatic public confrontation, illustrating the growing friction between independent creators who demand absolute control over how their art is represented, and powerful institutions that view popular culture as a convenient tool for public relations. The initial hours after the video's release were marked by a tense anticipation, as media analysts and fans alike waited to see if the artist team would choose to handle the matter quietly through standard legal channels, or if the singer herself would utilize her own immense platform to address the situation directly. What followed was a swift, uncompromising, and highly public rejection that shattered any hope of a quiet resolution, setting off a fierce back and forth that would instantly become the biggest story in the entertainment world. The moment of anticipation did not last long, as the 32-year-old pop icon decided to bypass standard industry protocols and address the situation with direct, unfiltered urgency. Taking to the very same short-form video platform where the official video had been posted, she left a searing comment directly beneath the controversial clip, making her absolute disapproval known to her hundreds of millions of followers. In her public response, the Florida native vocalist expressed profound disgust at the way her music had been leveraged, explicitly calling out the administration and pleading that her creative work never again be associated with what she described as barbaric, inhumane, and heinous nonsense. To ensure there was absolutely no ambiguity regarding her stance on the federal agency featured in the video, she added a separate, highly explicit written statement that leveled a direct profanity at Immigration and Customs Enforcement, commonly known as ICE. This explosive response from one of the world's biggest celebrities instantly shifted the narrative, transforming a routine government public relations video into a massive cultural crisis that captured the immediate attention of major media outlets worldwide. However, the drama intensified almost immediately due to the strange and unpredictable nature of social media algorithms and content moderation systems. Shortly after the pop star posted her fierce condemnation, her representatives noticed something highly unusual happening on the platform. In a detailed statement provided to the entertainment outlet Variety, the singer's spokesperson revealed that for some completely unknown reason, the artist's highly critical comments were suddenly no longer publicly visible on the official post. This apparent censorship or technical glitch immediately triggered widespread speculation across the internet, with fans and digital rights advocates questioning whether the platform or the administration itself had intentionally hidden the comments to minimize the public backlash. While the mystery surrounding the visibility of her words deepened, the singer's legal and management teams were working aggressively behind the scenes to take control of the situation. They initiated formal procedures to have her hit song, titled Bye, completely scrubbed from the video, arguing that the unauthorized use of the track violated her creative rights and mischaracterized her personal beliefs. Within a short period, their efforts appeared successful, as the audio track was abruptly removed from the clip, leaving the intense law enforcement footage playing in complete silence, rather than letting the issue fade away after the music was removed. The administration chose to escalate the confrontation by issuing a formal public response that directly challenged the pop star's rhetoric. White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson released an official statement that cleverly repurposed the singer's own strong vocabulary to push back against the criticism and justify the agency's actions. In her statement, which was widely reported by international news agencies like Reuters, Jackson asserted that the administration would say it one last time, arguing that what is actually barbaric, inhumane, and heinous are the criminal individuals who enter the country unlawfully and go on to injure or murder innocent American citizens. By intentionally throwing the artist's words back at her, the administration sought to reframe the debate, shifting the focus away from the unauthorized use of a pop song and onto the highly sensitive, emotional topic of national security and public safety. This aggressive rhetorical counterattack made it perfectly clear that the administration had no intention of backing down or apologizing for using popular culture to promote its enforcement operations. This sharp exchange did not occur in a vacuum, as the pop star has a well-documented history of expressing strong opinions regarding the current administration, making this latest clash the continuation of a long-standing ideological feud. To understand the depth of the animosity, one must look back to the previous autumn, when the singer used her massive Instagram presence to signal boost a highly critical message penned by prominent internet activist Matt Bernstein. The post, which the artist shared directly to her Instagram stories, offered a scathing review of the administration's performance during its first 8 months in power. The text of the post was deeply emotional and provocative, pointing out that 250 days had passed under the administration, during which families had been violently separated, communities had been disrupted, and marginalized groups, particularly transgender individuals, had been forced to live in constant fear while being blamed for societal issues. The shared post concluded with a pointed question aimed at the American public, asking if anyone's quality of life had actually improved under these conditions. By sharing this message, the artist had already firmly established herself as a prominent cultural opponent of the administration's platform long before the music dispute began. The administration's response to her criticisms during that previous incident was just as dismissive and combative as its current stance, highlighting a pattern of public bickering between Washington and the entertainment elite. At the time, White House Deputy Press Secretary Kush Desai had issued a public reply that mocked the singer's outrage by explicitly referencing one of her own past hit singles, telling her to save her tears. Desai went on to praise the administration's economic achievements, claiming that decisive executive actions had successfully ended the severe inflation crisis inherited from the previous leadership and were successfully bringing trillions of dollars in new investments into the country. In an additional effort to undermine her complaints, the deputy press secretary pointed out that the president had signed a specific executive order designed to empower the Federal Trade Commission to crack down on monopolistic practices within the live entertainment industry. Desai noted sarcastically that this move was intended to protect the singer's own concert-going fans from being ripped off by predatory ticketing companies. Finishing his public statement with a patronizing wish for the pop star to get well soon, this ongoing friction underscores a broader, highly calculated strategy employed by the official White House social media team, which regularly utilizes the handle @WhiteHouse across major platforms to broadcast its daily operations. The account has established a consistent pattern of using top-charting, recognizable songs as background soundtracks to promote highly intense and controversial initiatives. This specific digital marketing strategy is designed to make standard government announcements appear more modern and shareable, transforming complex enforcement actions into easily digestible, viral video clips. In the past, the account has not hesitated to pair trendy audio tracks with videos detailing sensitive military movements in international waters, operations related to ongoing geopolitical tensions in Iran, and even high-profile international law enforcement breakthroughs, such as the dramatic arrest of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro earlier in the year. The specific clip that sparked the current controversy followed this exact template, showcasing a fast-paced, dramatic series of operations where federal immigration officers were seen executing tactical maneuvers, entering properties, and placing individuals into handcuffs. By placing a catchy pop song over these intense, life-altering real-world events, the digital team aimed to maximize online engagement, but instead, they ignited a massive debate over the ethics of using an artist's intellectual property to glorify the enforcement mechanisms of the state. The rapid escalation of this public feud has ignited an immense wave of discussion across the entire digital landscape, prompting millions of everyday observers to weigh in on whether a global pop icon has the fundamental right to dictate how her commercial art is utilized by public institutions. This intense situation has forced the public to confront the deeply complex relationship between an artist's personal conviction and the broad accessibility of music in the modern streaming era, where digital tracks are frequently treated as public domain by casual users and major organizations alike. For the singer, this battle is deeply rooted in a career-long dedication to specific social principles and an unwavering commitment to using her enormous influence to protect vulnerable populations. Her political and social leanings have never been a secret to her audience, as she has consistently demonstrated a willingness to put her commercial success on the line to stand up for her core beliefs. This was vividly apparent during the major election cycle of 24 when she threw her immense cultural weight and public endorsement behind the Democratic presidential candidate, Kamala Harris. Utilizing her massive social media reach to mobilize young voters and encourage widespread civic participation. When that highly contentious election concluded with Harris's defeat in November of 24, the pop star did not retreat into silence, but instead chose to share her profound grief and solidarity with her followers through a deeply personal and emotional public message. In a widely shared social media post published immediately after the results were finalized, she reached out to her global fan base, writing that she was holding the hand of every single person who was feeling the immeasurable heaviness of the outcome on that difficult day. Recognizing the deep anxiety and fear that the incoming administration's platform generated among minority communities, she went a step further by using her platform to distribute practical aid, providing direct links to vital mental health resources, legal defense organizations, and support groups specifically tailored for the LGBTQ+ community. This immediate, empathetic response cemented her status not just as a standard commercial entertainer but as an active, deeply invested cultural advocate who views her platform as a sanctuary for those who feel marginalized by shifting institutional powers. Her active engagement with national leadership and public service actually stretches back over more than a decade, illustrating that her relationship with institutional power has evolved significantly over the course of her journey to superstardom. Way back in 2014, during a completely different cultural and administrative era, a much younger version of the vocalist was invited to walk through the doors of the executive mansion under vastly different circumstances. At that time, she took the historic stage for former President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama during a highly celebrated, prestigious cultural event titled In Performance at the White House, Women of Soul. During that memorable evening, she was celebrated as one of the definitive rising voices of her generation, delivering a flawless, soaring vocal performance that earned warm praise from the nation's highest leadership and showcased her ability to unite people through the universal language of music. That harmonious moment stands in stark, dramatic contrast to the bitter public bickering defining her current relationship with the executive branch, perfectly illustrating how the cultural landscape has fractured over the years. Throughout her meteoric rise to fame, the Florida-born superstar has consistently backed up her public statements with significant, tangible financial commitments to numerous charitable organizations and grassroots social movements across the country. She has repeatedly donated substantial portions of her personal wealth to urgent causes, including the Protect and Defend Trans Youth Fund, an initiative created to provide vital legal resources, medical backing, and mental health assistance to transgender individuals facing increasing restrictions across various states. Furthermore, she has been a long-time vocal financial contributor to Planned Parenthood, consistently defending the fundamental right to accessible health care and bodily autonomy for women nationwide. By consistently funding these highly visible organizations, the artist has proven to both her critics and her supporters that her public statements are not merely calculated public relations moves, but are instead backed by a lifelong dedication to systemic advocacy and real-world impact. Despite the intense digital storm swirling around her name and her music, the multi-platinum recording artist remains completely focused on her primary passion, continuing to deliver her art directly to her millions of devoted fans in the live arena. She is currently traveling across the country on her highly acclaimed global venture, the Eternal Sunshine Tour, which has been selling out massive stadiums and arenas worldwide, earning rave reviews from critics who praise both her unmatched vocal precision and the deeply emotional narrative of the show. The tour is scheduled to make its next highly anticipated stop at the iconic Crypto.com arena nestled in the heart of downtown Los Angeles on Saturday night. This upcoming performance is expected to be an incredibly charged and emotional event, as thousands of dedicated followers will gather under one roof, eager to hear her perform the very track that sparked this massive national controversy, transforming the concert into a massive celebration of artistic independence. As the music industry and public observers watch this situation unfold, the entire incident serves as a powerful reminder of the immense friction that occurs when the worlds of massive pop culture stardom and official state messaging collide in the digital public square. The swift removal of the audio track from the administration's official video package demonstrates that even the most powerful public institutions must ultimately respect the fierce boundaries set by independent creators who refuse to let their art be used to validate actions they find fundamentally objectionable. While the administration continues to defend its enforcement operations and push its public relations agenda through viral video strategies, the global pop icon has made it undeniably clear that her music will never be used as a convenient soundtrack for initiatives that conflict with her personal morality. As the final notes of this public dispute continue to echo across social media platforms, the story stands as a definitive moment in modern media history.